Quinnipium. Welcome to our Knowing Nipmuc webinar series. We hope that this collection of educational webinars will allow organizations to know Nipmuc better and to facilitate greater understanding between our cultures. Thank you so much for viewing. Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl Tony Holly from the Hassanamisco Nipmuc. Welcome to Knowing Nipmuc, Land Acknowledgements. Our speaker tonight is Troy Phillips, who is the chairperson of the Commission on Indian Affairs here in Massachusetts. He is also a sub-chief and council member for the Hassanamisco Nipmuc Band. And he's going to talk about land acknowledgements and other items that organizations or towns often ask Nipmuc to help them with. I think I want to give it a couple more minutes and then we'll start, okay? If you have questions, you can put them in the chat and we can talk about it then. All right.
Good evening. My name is Troy Phillips. People call me Wolf. I'm an enrolled member of the Hassanamisco Nipmuc tribe. I descend from the Vickers Hazard Coffee Pegan family lines. I serve on the Hassanamisco Tribal Council and as a member of their medicine society. I recently became a sub-chief tribe. My role as sub-chief is to mediate intra-Nipmuc issues, assist our Siskwa and tribal affairs. I also work for the Massachusetts Commission of Indian Affairs. I'm going to share my screen and give you a slide presentation, if you don't mind. Let's see. Take me a second. There. Oh, there we go. All right. So the master, can everybody see it? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Oh, great. So the Massachusetts Commission on Indian Affairs. Commission on Indian Affairs was created by the legislator in 1974. And it was governed by Chapter 6A, Section 8A. The Commission on Indian Affairs' fundamental role is to assist Native American individuals, tribes, and organizations in their relationship with state and local government agencies, and to advise the Commonwealth in matters pertaining to Native Americans. So we're located in Boston. This is a little briefing of what the Commission's about and where we are to help understand us. We have an executive director, Jim Peters, been there quite a long time, and an administrative assistant is Bern Stanley. So if you ever give us a call, she'd be happy to direct you to any of the commissioners. And below you can see, if you go to our website, you'll see all this. So right now, presently, there's 6 commissioners that represent the Commonwealth in different counties, as you can see the list down there. I represent Bristol and Norfolk counties, and we actually have somebody that's Nipmuc, Tashana Carter, represent Central Mass, Worcester, and Middlesex counties. So if you go to mass.gov, Indian Affairs, that'll be our website. And the website's got quite a bit. It's going to be updated very soon. I just requested that because it's a little, needs to be more organized. But the website consists of all the tribes in the southern New England. If you're looking for tuition and scholarship information, you can go there, and Bern would be happy to help you put that together. And that's if you are looking for any type of resource to help your family, Indian Health Services information's there, Native Lifelines for the state, whether you're state or federal, or even a Native person living in the Commonwealth. Their services include assisting with homelessness, counseling. Sorry. Let me go back. Elderly engagement, medical care, etc. They're a world of help. If you need dental assistant, just general health issues, give them a call. I mean, they're amazing. Let's see, next slide. Our meetings, I'm gonna move this slide. The Commission on Indian Affairs generally has 4 meetings throughout the year, along with special meetings if needed. These meetings are public. Since the pandemic, the meetings are virtual. If you wish to attend a meeting, you can contact the Commission to be placed on the, I can't see what I wrote. Anyways, let me go back. To be placed on our lines, our roll call there. What are some of the hot topics, discussions pertaining to natives in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? One of the biggest things now going is our state seal and motto, the mascot bill, Indian arts crafts bill, truth and reconciliation, and land acknowledgement, to name a few. There's committees for all of those that were put together, and the Commission, brings that to attention to the governor and the letters, and all these people that represent that are on these committees. We actually have Nipmucs on these committees that'll address it to our tribe and to the Commonwealth and discuss, what the native folks would like to see. So, and they go to other representatives in the state to try to get these bills passed. So land acknowledgement is, the hottest topic, I think, right now throughout Turtle Island, throughout the country. What you're looking there is our homeland. That's Blackstone River Valley in the fall. Look how beautiful it is right there. But, it has its things. That's just a beautiful photo of it. But there's a lot going on there that you can't see. So land acknowledgement is used by Native people and non-Native people to recognize that we are the original stewards of the land. This practice originated in Canada, believe it or not, in 2008. The Truth and Reconciliation started there, identifying the rights of Indigenous people, and that just opened up a can of worms into all kinds of things. The missing endangered women and children, and the burials of, a lot of nastiness came out of that to open up the doors to have talks and conversations about Native issues, and it flowed down into this country and all throughout Turtle Island. So in July 1976, Governor Michael Dukakis issued an Executive Order 126. The Commonwealth has molded this relationship by treaties and agreement, legislative acts, and executive orders with the tribal councils of Mashpee, Gayhead, Wampanoag tribes, and the Hassanamisco Nipmuc tribe. As Massachusetts is one of the 13 colonies, it has maintained its relationship with Native peoples of the region, has never ceased to recognize our special relationship. So even before the Commonwealth was the Commonwealth, the pioneers, were having relationships with us about land and our people. So I just wanted to put that in there. So land acknowledgement from Native people's perspective and non-Native people's perspective varies. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about non-Native peoples, what they expect land acknowledgement should be, and what Native people communities, some of them think differently. And then some, we'll talk about what Hassanamisco thinks about land acknowledgement and how we address it. So I have a little video. This is non-natives talking about land acknowledgement. So let's listen to this. It's only a few minutes, but you'll get a perspective, and this is really how it is.
Hello. First, I'd like to remind everyone here to turn off your cell phones. Before we begin this evening's performance, we would like to acknowledge that this theater stands on territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, and the Petun First Nations. We are also mindful of broken covenants and the need to make right with all our relations. And now, please enjoy the show.
Oh, sorry, hello?
Oh, sorry.
Excuse me, should we go?
Excuse me?
Oh, no, I just mean if we're on someone else's land, shouldn't we leave?
Oh, no. The theater's here now. We'd just like to acknowledge whose land it is.
I'm sorry, I'm so confused. So if we're on someone else's land, shouldn't we do something about that? Or
Hopefully we'll enjoy the performance.
oh, okay, so some of the money from the ticket sales of the show are going to the Indigenous communities?
Well, no.
A portion of them?
No, the ticket sales go to the theater.
So is the money from the bottled water sold here going to the First Nations for clean drinking water? Or?
Oh, no, that money goes to Nestle. Their sponsor.
I'm so sorry. I'm so confused. So whose land are we on? What are we doing?
It's a dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. So that was one thing. I mean, I've seen that happen where folks just want to, towns or organizations may just want to identify who lived there and make a statement, and that'd be it. Don't know if there's people that from that community still even living there, because they used to think that we are from the past. So how would they know? So that's all about relationships. So, Nipmucs and land acknowledgement. Nipmucs are the stewards of our lands and resources, as we know. In previous Nipmuc webinars, you learned how Nipmuc homelands dwindled down to what it is today. Nipmucs used different regions of their land during migration times, which in turn led to unoccupied land being claimed by the English as their own. The King Philip War, Deer Island imprisonment, Christianity, and colonization, along with false sales of deeds and taxes, all led to the loss of Nipmuc lands. In Massachusetts, land acknowledgement from towns, organizations, and people are growing. We're starting to see that. When Hassanamisco tribe is approached regarding land acknowledgement, we should be asking them the hard questions. Why do they want to do it, land acknowledgement? Why are they doing it? We've seen that video, that person just said, we just want to acknowledge this was their land. Let's continue with the show. So is it out of guilt or to be politically correct because their states, towns, etc. are involved in land acknowledgements? Or in pursuing this land acknowledgement, will they continue to even support through actions the Native communities? And if yes, how? How are they going to do it? Will they commit to empowering our people in our tribe? These are the things we say when we are approached by that. We'll sit down as tribal council people or whoever's representing our people should be asking these questions. Oh, I got something. Let me see. I gotta minimize something. Sorry for 1 second. Not sure. Oh, there we go. Hassanamisco asked those involved in land acknowledgement to learn about our people and our government in order to establish a positive working relationship. The people involved in doing land acknowledgements need to understand from our point of view, as best they can, that when we discuss land acknowledgements, we use terms such as stolen lands, forced removal, and genocide to reflect the actions of colonizers. We use terms to reflect the past, the present, and the future because we're still here. It is important that they see us as being a very present society with bright futures and not as a past relic. They like to talk about us as the people, the indigenous people that were once here. Well, we're here. We've been here. We never left. You just didn't want to have a relationship with us. In the words of our Sisqua, Cheryl Holly, which I found from a presentation where she did a land acknowledgement. She said, land acknowledgements can be difficult for us because in this time of day, everyone is trying to prove that they can diversify and can support people that are different from them. And sometimes land acknowledgement is just that little checkbox for them. We prefer to have a relationship with people who we assist with land acknowledgements. So in other words, I mean, in order to have conversations, you know, for us to, you know, do a land acknowledgement with them, you know, we want to ask them, what are you going to do? I mean, are you just going to shake our hand and walk away, raise our flag, walk away? Even though it's there, I mean, it'll start fading just like any relic that's been out there that are being removed now, you know, what is that? What's that about? In time, you know, land acknowledgement might not even be here anymore. So the relationship goes. We want to make sure if we're doing land acknowledgement, that it's something for our people, our next generation, the generation before us. That's why we use these terms, in my opinion. So here's one thing that's working for us now, and there's several. So that's the Pig Squawks farm up in Orange. That's a school there working, but I meant to put our own picture up, but I mean, that's our working farm. That's one piece of land. It's 100 acres that we are going to convert for our people that's been working for the last couple of years on our own, a safe place for our people. And we're going to thrive. Wait a minute. Guess I'm going to ad-lib the rest. Lost my paper. So I know our people will. Hang on one second. Oh yeah, the future of Hassanamisco tribe is a bright one, and we continue to be more self-reliant and to provide for ourselves as we did thousands of years ago. We will continue to reclaim our culture, traditions, and spirituality. Land acknowledgements are one way for Nipmuc people to begin our healing and self-reliance. Currently, we are negotiating with the town of Grafton, Mass. For the return of the land to the reservation. In addition, there is a request for the rematriation of state-owned land in Belchertown. Our goal is to develop our lands in order to create jobs, housing, growing foods, protecting our water resources, utilizing traditional medicines, and maintaining our hunting and fishing rights. Oh, I guess I just read it. So that is my slide, and I'm gonna exit that. So I hope you enjoyed that slide presentation on land acknowledgement. I mean, land acknowledgement can be discussed for hours and hours, but you know, there's organizations that want to do it. There's private sectors that want to do it now. There's town officials that want to do it now. But what they want to do, what do they offer? You know, I went to one before. The last one I went to, they asked me, what do you want? They invited me to land acknowledgement. I didn't even call them. And they go, well, what do you want? I'm like, you asked me to be here. What do you mean, what do I want? What do you want? Oh, we want to acknowledge you. This is your town and your tribe's town. I'm like, yeah, so it's our tribe's town, but what do you want to do with us? What can we do? What are you offering? Do you even know who we are? Do you know where we're located? Do you know our people? Do you know how many people are we are? Do you know who our chief is? Do you know who our tribal council is? Do you know the governments in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? Any of the tribes? They didn't have a clue. I mean, it's all about education and awareness, and that's what we need to do. So I asked them, I gave them a bunch of websites to go to learn about it. Don't hear it from somebody else because you may get the wrong answers. So the right answers is to look it up, read about it, and then come back. And then let's have discussions, get to know you kind of thing. And I think that's what our tribe is trying to do, get to know you with land acknowledgement. Is there any questions, Chief? Do you think we are open to?
I don't see any questions in the chat, but I see a bunch of folks from different organizations, and maybe you guys can someone can speak up and let us know what you think land acknowledgements, or why your organization or government office wants to pursue a land acknowledgement with a Indigenous tribe. That would be helpful, I think, for us to hear the other side. If that makes sense. Don't make me call a name.
Yeah, it's really tough sometimes to have discussions with it, and because and it's not about what happened now. It's what trying to get over that hill of what happened in the past. We can't change the past, but we can bring that bridge back together with land acknowledgement, and then just seeing how we are. We may not even want land. We've seen land that was offered to us that our tribe of people didn't want because it was destroyed already. That's usually the first offering, and or it just doesn't suit our needs anymore for who we are now. We have evolved, and so we look at land just the same way as the English or non-native people look at it now. Is it right for us? We don't want every piece of land that's out there anymore, because the land's not the same as it was for our ancestors. So we are looking at lands that will protect our people, that will serve our people for years to come, and that we get to manage. Like I said, we are the stewards. Oh, I see.
So Dana is asking, since Nipmuc land spread across northern Rhode Island, northeast Connecticut, and Mass, are there other land repatriation interests in different states on behalf of the Nipmucs? That's go ahead.
Oh.
Troy.
Oh, hang on. I lost my screen. Hang on. All right. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
So it's from Dana. It says, since Nipmuc land spread across northern Rhode Island, northeastern Connecticut, and Mass, are there other land, she's talking about land repatriation interests in different states on behalf of Nipmucs?
Well, are you asking if we're looking for land? We haven't looked for land and anywhere. It's just when it's approached, we get the call, and then we discuss it with our communities. I mean, our tribal councils and our people, to see if that land fits us, if we can even take care of that land. I mean, that's another thing about land acknowledgement. Can you take care of it? Just to receive it doesn't mean that's not being a steward of the land. So, I mean, we haven't looked into Rhode Island, if that's what you mean. Our homelands, of course, it was into Rhode Island at one point. But once colonization came, they put the line across. We don't see the line, but we still are stewards of that land. But we haven't done anything down there. There's only a few towns that we've actually been looking at: the Belchertown, Petersham, Lamson Farm, and up in Orange. And we haven't looked up into New Hampshire or anything. I don't know if we will. I don't think so.
What about Connecticut with the Nipmuc Forest?
Which one, Douglas?
No, the Nipmuc Forest in Woodstock, North Woodstock.
Oh,
I'm literally called the Nipmuc Forest.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't have that answer. Do you know that, Chief?
No, I think she's asking about land back, not land acknowledgements. Just about land back.
Yeah. So I have nothing to do with that land. I don't know any information on that one. I can look into it for you though.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'll look into it for you. Let's go with that.
She's talking about Nipmuc
I'd like to
Forest,
make a
Connecticut.
comment.
Go ahead, John Marsland.
Hey, my name's John Moslin. I'm a president of the Blackstone River Watershed Council, Friends of the Blackstone, and we're located in Rhode Island. And we developed a great relationship with the Hassanamisco Nipmuc Band by offering canoe trips down on our place in Manville. And I think we've been working together for close to 16 years. I think when we first met, Kristen Wyman's daughter was, I think, 6 months old when she went on her first canoe trip. And I don't know how old the daughter is now, but that's about how we can gauge how long we've been working together. You know, Bruce Curlis is a board member of our group, and we really enjoy working with the tribe.
Yeah, John, thank you. Yeah, I know. I met you and been there, and I've been down that river many times, and I love working with you guys and keeping that river going. I hope that river cleans up someday. We're always watching that. Bruce has done a great job, and he's our eyes, and he reports back and lets us know how it's going, and when there's time to go up there and help. And we're looking at the dam right now down there to see if we can get the resources of the fish back up there, and talking with DCR down there and Pawtucket, and yeah, it's a great thing. And these are the kind of relationships we're talking about. It's not about always just getting the land back. It's also about managing our lands, sharing it. We're actually talking with Tufts University about our land and sharing it, possibly. It's just started. I don't want to get into too much details about what our tribe does, but you just come to our tribal meetings if you're a tribal member, and you'll see these discussions. So not everything's transparent with us in the government. And that's the beautiful thing, just like they do with John and their organization. So yeah, thank you, John. That was a great example. And that's a beautiful river to be taken care of. Yeah. We all should be participating, and Bruce is doing a wonderful thing.
Oh, it is. We applied for a grant through the National Park Foundation to hire an executive director. So we're hoping to get that, and I think Bruce would be an excellent candidate for that. And,
yeah.
We have another intertribal gathering planned for Slater Mill for Sunday, October 22nd, from 1 to 4 p.m. And everyone's welcome to come down. Like it'll be like last year, and trying to hold the 2 events a year, that and the spring migration parade.
Nice.
The pressure on the government to bring fish passage back to the Blackstone.
Yeah, I'm always watching. I just live down here in Seekonk, so I'm right over there all the time. So I'll see you there soon. Hopefully, if that date works for me. Anyone else have questions? Want to share or afraid to ask? It's a good time to ask.
I have a question for John Marsland. John, first of all, Kristen's daughter started high school today, and that's how long we've known you. And what do you think about land? What do you think a land acknowledgement is? And do you have a land acknowledgement, your organization? And if so, why?
We don't have a land acknowledgement per se, but I don't know, like even the land that we have our building on is owned by other people, and we get an easement to be there. And so I agree there should be acknowledgement to the original stewards of the land, and people should be aware of that, because they should also pick up that culture and help to support being a steward of the land. And I think today's society has forgotten that, we have to look after the land, or we're going to be in big trouble. Like we're kind of in trouble now with the earth, the way it's going on with excessive storms and heavy rains. And I don't know where we're going to end up in the future, but like everyone worries about seven generations, and it's kind of scary to think what it might be like here at the 7th generation. But
right.
I don't know where to go on land acknowledgement. I acknowledge it myself, and we've never really had one say at Sycamore. Well, we did have we did acknowledge it when we had David Tallpine came down and blessed our building when we first opened it. So he had his words of worship, of prayer to the land when that happened.
So a lot of a land acknowledgement for us, meaning is the use of the land. I mean, it doesn't mean it has to be entitled to us, but to be able to go into our swamps and use that. And sometimes Nipmucs have difficulty going to even to fish, say over by the waterways, because private land is in the way, or the beaches that are behind their house or homes, or the lake is there. And even though it's not their property, they don't want anybody cutting through to get to these places. Even though you have a tribal ID, you know, they'll call the police. They'll interrupt what they're doing, their ceremony by the water. They're because that's generally what a Nipmuc will do. They'll go out before they fish. They'll do a prayer and give thanks, and go about their ceremonies and fishing. Or if they're going out harvesting or getting the medicines, you know, people question them, and they know what they're doing. Sometimes confrontation is the hardest thing for us, because if it was just general, you know, hi, nice to meet you, can ask what you're doing here, and you can, and our people's response was, I'm Nipmuc, I'm here to go into our lands and you know, either do this or that, and that should be how it ends. But no, it doesn't. It gets a little difficult. So that's one of the difficulties about going to any of our lands, homelands, places that we know that was handed down and passed down to us, where these places are, where we can continue our culture, harvest our medicines, gets, you know, instead of, you know, being out on the streets and colonization way of life. That's not what we've ever wanted. Like I said, since 2008, you know, when Canada started that, and even before then, really, we've been fighting and fighting, and the times are getting better for us, but not, it'll probably never be where we want it to be, but we want protection of our people. We want them to feel comfortable, those next 7 generations. In my generation, we're getting there. I mean, I remember I was younger, and I didn't even have half of what the generation below me has now. We were just dreaming of this. So I'm hoping before I go crossover that the next generation, and we're preparing them to take our places right now for that exchange, that they'll be able to even have it easier for the next generation after them. That's how it works for us. You know, I won't be in this position much longer. I just want to be relaxing as an elder, and you know, the next person under me will, you know, take what I've done and continue, and let that next council decide on how they're going to take our tribe to the next level. It's only gotten better, but it's a struggle, and our memory hasn't changed about the problems of our ancestors. That'll never go away. And that's the hard part for non-natives, you know, with land acknowledgement. But we're not looking you in the face when you're non-native to tell you that it's your fault. That's the part. If you can get through that, then we can have a beautiful relationship, you know. And that's the good part about it. It's like, yes, you're on that land now. It is beautiful. What can we do together? And that's probably the last. Yeah.
That's excellent point, Troy, that maybe when states and cities and counties do land acknowledgements, they can include like easements, cultural easements, allowing people to, you know, fish and hunt and collect medicines and things like that. Instead of it always being like an extractive thing. That's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for relationship, not extractive.
Right.
Paper or extractive statement that says, hey, we did this, now we're all done. But that's a good point you're bringing up, though, is that those cultural easements that could be, you know, a part of that relationship, part of that land acknowledgement.
Right. Yeah, like over in Chabanagangumug, Lake Chabanagangumug, you know, a lot of the national parks and And all, those are still our lands. They were never given to the Commonwealth. So, just trying to even get that use sometimes can be difficult, It's still our land. It was never signed over to them. And they know it. So we started working with DCR and being able to hunt and fish and utilize that land. We never hurt the land. That's the main thing to understand. It's not us, the ones, we only take what we need. We don't spoil. We want to make sure what we take comes back the following year, because we're actually a nomadic tribe. We go to the shores when the fish are running to get them, and then we come back in our homelands. Like I said in the beginning of our presentation, that our ancestors did that, and then when they came back, the land was taken. There was a fence around their land and a house there. That's how it all started. Eminent domain. We can't do that. Get it back. So, I mean, I hope this presentation just has a little understanding, because some natives do just want to be known. All right, raise our flag. Yeah, let's put a stone up. And then that's it. Everybody feels good and goes home. There was really nothing. And some natives, even some commissioners, will think that not only here, but everywhere else, just think just having some marker will just raise the flag of discussion. But sometimes it never does, even in this conversation, when I have conversations with folks, they won't say anything, even though I'm right here. I'm trying to be soft to them, spoken. What do you think? Maybe they need time to think. But when you do a land acknowledgement without having an agreement of some sort, or having conversation of how we can work together, then that kind of seems to disappear. And all that's left is the marker. Just like all the markers of the past that we're asking, that we're removing now, those mascots and all these things that we couldn't stand looking at over the years. So yeah, we're here. That's the main thing, is we're here, we're struggling, and we're going to get through for our people one way or another. Thank you.
We have another question, Troy. It says, when you say take care of, this is from Lee Riverhawk Turner. When you say take care of the land, are you referring to paying the taxes or maintaining, i.e. mowing and cutting?
I thought we talked about you getting that job mowing. You got it, man. You can mow the lawns. No, as steward, I was talking about being stewards of the land, meaning that every time we use the land, we're out there. That's a good one, cousin. Yeah, so when we were out there, you're a fisherman, so you only take what you need, right? You're in the waterway, but if you were in the woods, you would gather your mushrooms, but you wouldn't take them all.
No.
Being a steward, if you've seen somebody dropping some trash down, you'd probably say something. That's being a steward of the land. If you're while you're in the woods, we pray, we spirits, we have offerings, we give thanks. That's being a steward of our lands. Maintaining it for the next person that comes through, next human being. It doesn't have to be a Nipmuc. It's just the next person, human, that comes in that space. That was left there for us, for all of us to enjoy and be part of. That's a steward.
The question of taxes comes up because
taxes. Well, the only taxes is Hassanamisco, that little piece of land that was left, I believe. Like I said, colonization, unless you're on a reservation, and we're not a federal tribe. Wampanoags are federal tribes. Some of their land is tax-free. We hope to someday work our lands into being, tax-free. That takes time. We have to manage it, and we have to get it into a trust. And that's what we're trying to do. But we haven't had that discussion yet about putting land into trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Cousin Sobek found paperwork in Wilbraham where some of the battles were done in that area with Kings Phillips and the Nipmucs. And he's got actual paperwork that he said he sent to you. and he has a house that's built on Nipmuc land. And he's wondering at some point when he pays the house off, will he still have to pay the taxes on it?
Yeah,
Something
that
like
land is
that.
still under, yeah, he came to us during our gathering and he brought that to me and the chief. And
Mhm.
yeah, we want to look at that document, but he still have to pay taxes. I mean, I don't think there's anything he can do about that. It's
Right.
any land that's privately owned land at this point.
Right. Town of Wolverham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just make a correction? So the reservation in Grafton, we do not pay taxes on that land. That land exists before the state, before the town existed. There's no title, there's no deed, there's no taxes because it doesn't exist under state, town, United States law. So it can't be taxed.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
I didn't say that was paid by taxes, did I?
That's the last piece of land in all of
Right,
Massachusetts.
yeah. In the whole state.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't say
Wow.
that.
Wow. Oh, okay.
But there is trust. I mean, you can eventually go present land and put it into trust, but that takes time and you got to work that. I don't know if that's something we may do or not do.
Gotcha.
Next. Anybody else?
Any more questions about land acknowledgements?
Troy, can I ask you a question? Because we talked this week. I'm Alistair Carroll. I'm from Tufts. So Troy and Cheryl and Lizzie and I were talking last week. If you've got a good relationship, if you establish a relationship as you were talking about, does a land acknowledgement add value or is at that point it unnecessary? Does that make sense?
Right. What kind of value are you referring to, though?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've sat in on some of those land acknowledgements.
Yeah.
And a lot of them aren't sincere, as you said. I think that's fair to say. And I'm obviously not a member of an Indian tribe or band or anything, but as a white person sitting in there, it makes me uncomfortable as well. And so, we've talked about establishing a relationship, and I'm just wondering if once you have a good relationship established, does adding a land acknowledgement to that relationship add anything extra?
Absolutely.
Does it make it stronger? Does it?
I understand now. I understand
Yeah.
what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I really, again, want to appreciate that you actually in your committee came to us and spoke with us and sat down with us. I felt the sincerity, especially from you, because you lived in Canada where land acknowledgement had just started and you sat with Native folks up there. And I could feel that you had an understanding of what that land, that Tufts meant to us. And when me and Chief talked to you about that land and how, we asked you to look into it and just see a little bit more of what our ancestors went through just to try to get that and failed. And then we asked you to look at the land from our point of view of what the needs of that land, what that land represents now to our people. If we went out there, we said, our medicine people probably would want to go out there and to the bog and look for medicines that nobody probably even knows about. And just to be able to go in there and have a, written agreement that that's something we can do with you without being uncomfortable going in there, without being judged going into our own, we still consider it ours, even though, it's yours. But you know what I'm saying? But to acknowledge that, that's what that is about. And then that we've already started our relationship, good or bad. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I think it was a good start.
And you're here now and it's growing. I mean, I appreciate you coming to this. So I'm really excited to have you listen. It may suck a little bit, like you mentioned. But
I think he was,
it wasn't because of you, you know? We wanted you to look at the history of that
Mhm.
land and how we asked the state for it originally and didn't happen.
Cousin Troy.
Yeah,
I think he was asking, does the land acknowledgement of the land, does it add any value as far as when we get the land acknowledgement, does it make it more valuable? I think that's what he was
So I think
asking.
he's saying that if you have so if we have an established relationship with an organization, that is the land acknowledgement, right? That is the acknowledgement. So for me, from my perspective, land acknowledgements that organizations are just fads. They just do it because they think that that's it. That's their obligation. They have to say those words, and then they're all done.
right.
But if you're truly developing a relationship with the tribe, then that is the acknowledgement.
Right.
You know, it's not that fad stuff that's on top of it. But
Yeah.
that's just my
It's a
opinion.
working relationship is what we're looking at.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's helpful. And it's, as you started at the beginning, I think was the key point. The land acknowledgement does not replace a relationship.
No, no,
No.
no, not at all. And there's, like I mentioned, there's different forms of acknowledgement and relationships. You know, I think with Tufts, which you represent, it's more of a relationship working together as we spoke. You know, there's other acknowledgements like the land we have in Orange, that was land given to us. So that's a land we looked at, discussed, and that's a working piece of land that we will steward as Nipmucs alone for all of our Nipmucs. We put that in writing that that's for all Nipmucs. So there's different types of land acknowledgements, and that's kind of what this presentation's about. It's not just about somebody acknowledging a tribe that the land once belonged to, because generally the people are still there. So the acknowledgement is really about past, present, and future. A lot of people just want to remember the past, but we, Hassanamisco, look at land acknowledgement as past, present, and future. So our people, you know, it's not, yes, our people lived here and we're still here.
Right.
And we're going through some stuff, you know, that's really in a nutshell. And I'm glad you acknowledge us. And
John
if
has
you
his
were
hand up.
able, maybe you're not able to do anything. You can, it's good to have acknowledgement, but if you're gonna even do if you don't have anything to offer, just to at least learn about who we are, you know, that could be the simplest acknowledgement, is just learning who we are.
Yeah.
And we're
Well,
here.
it's the thing I said when we talked, you know, the goal is not a land acknowledgement for me, it's a relationship. And
Yeah,
I have already passed up the word that we've had the conversation and what our next steps are. So
all right.
we'll keep,
Thank you.
we'll
Yeah,
follow up.
relationship.
Yeah.
Relationship is great. Thank you. Thank you, Alistair.
A land acknowledgement from coming from the vet school would be quite painful, I think, for us.
Yeah,
Right.
we
Because-
stated that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But John Marsland has his hand up, Troy.
Oh, hi, John, again.
Hey, Troy. Yeah, I'd like to just say that, like, we always offer our canoe equipment to the tribe at no cost, so you can go on the river with the youth or any tribal member and enjoy the river like your ancestors did at no cost.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're welcome to come down again. We haven't done a canoe trip in 2 or 3, maybe since before the pandemic. So that offer still stands at all times to.
Yeah,
the tribe to
we have
come.
a good working relationship with you, and we do know that, and I do know you guys offered that to our people, and it's still standing, even when Dave, you know, passed and crossed over, and you continue that with Bruce, and you know, eventually we probably will set up programs for that, which would be nice to go back down our river. We hadn't done it in a few years now, huh, Chief? Yeah. So we do enjoy the river. It's just that too is a little painful for us. And you guys do a great job cleaning it up. I see all the videos. I should come out there and join you. I'm looking for time. I'm about to retire, so I definitely will do some cleanups out there. But that's painful for our people sometimes to see how messy that is, even though it's, it's great to have, allies is a good word, that keep protecting. So you're a steward of the land as well. So, that's what stewardship is. Not only non-natives, I mean, natives, it's non-natives as well nowadays to help, because it takes more, it takes the village. Thank you.
Thanks, Troy.
You have more questions? Troy, you got a bunch of thanks in the chat. If you can see the chat where you're at, I'm not sure.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you. I enjoyed doing this. I hadn't done a presentation in a while. I've been so busy, but I think it's time.
Any more questions? Well, thank you, Troy. That was a great presentation. We appreciate it, all of us. I guess we will see you guys next time at our next Knowing Nipmuc. Meanwhile, if you go to our website, www.nipmucband.org, you can see all of these recordings on the website.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now. See everybody soon.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hassanamisco, and thank you for watching. All videos are available at the Hassanamisco Nipmuc Band website at www.nipmucband.org. Hassanamisco.